Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inspiring Hope, a show that shines the light on people who are making a difference in our world and the other worlds. Today, I am absolutely delighted to have with me two of my amazing associates, fellow spiritual travelers, and close friends. So, Sharon Hoffman and Scott Masciarelli are here. And Scott, where were you earlier today?
Lois and Sharon, and everybody happy to be here. I just returned from a great lunch, free lunch by the way, at a nice steakhouse, to listen to a presentation on prepaying your funeral services. And it was a great conversation all about death.
Mhm.
And it actually lines up nicely with this conversation, which continues the conversation about death and the physical and what happens after that.
Mhm. Yes.
And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, funeral homes. Can you imagine the amount of spirits and trapped souls that are there? How much energy clearing is necessary in a funeral home, particularly those that work in the funeral home?
Mhm.
So that's my next thing on my to-do list to talk about.
So if you work in a funeral home,
Reach out because
Contact
reach out
us.
to us.
Right.
We can help you for sure.
We can help you. We can help you get clear.
And
yes.
keep you clear.
Keep you clear.
And this is the time of year where the veil is thin. We're going to be airing this on about Halloween. So we love to do a spooky stories show around Halloween. So we have some great stories that we'd like to share with you. Sharon, you had one that you were talking about. What would you like to share?
Well, it's not spooky.
Okay.
It's actually quite beautiful.
Oh, nice.
I think that a lot of the trapped souls are trapped and they are beautiful. But this isn't about a trapped soul. It's about a soul that went into the light right away. And so it's about my mother. This was in New Mexico. She was passing away, and I was alone in the house with her. And my dad had gone out for some errand, and a beautiful home in New Mexico on the ridges of the mountains. And there's a river there, just glorious place. And she loved gardens. She had a beautiful garden like you, Lois. Anyways, my dog was there. I had a big Newfoundland at the time, black and white Newfoundland. And she loved my mom, and she was sitting by me. I think I was on the phone or something. And all of a sudden, she ran to my mom. And I ran to my mom after the dog because she must have sensed something was happening. So I sat down and talked to my mom, held her hand, and she looked to me like she was still there. But then all of a sudden things kind of went swoosh really fast. And my dog ran out the door. And I looked at my mom and there's no life there. And I've never seen a person that has passed before this moment. And so I kind of knew, but my dog was chasing out the door because it must have been a beautiful day because the door was open. She went out the door and all these birds went flying up into the sky and my dog sitting there, kind of barking.
Wow.
And so it was her spirit that just kind of whoosh, went up there.
That's
And my dog knew it. She just knew it. She was gone in an instant.
And you were there. You were there.
And I was there.
Yeah.
I feel pretty amazed by that because I was the only family member there at that moment when that happened. Beautiful.
Trusted you. She knew that she would be there to help pray her or lift her into the light, which is wonderful. That's what a beautiful story to start our spooky story episode. Because that's what the whole purpose of Halloween is supposed to be celebrating the time when the veil is thin. It's the time of All Souls Day, and you're helping to pray the lost souls into the light. We encounter lots and lots of lost souls, don't we? So it's an interesting career that we have, and we love it. We love rescuing the lost souls. People used to call it spirit release. I call it spirit rescue, because most of the time when you encounter them, they want to tell their story and they want help finding their way to the light.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my kind of story. Scott, what kind of story do you have? I have so many stories, but I'm going to hand the ball of spirit light to you.
Got it. Okay, so mine is a fun story. I want to call it a fun story. It's not scary. Last year I was going on a long trip, several weeks, and I had somebody coming into my home to take care of pets and just to take care of the house. So that person arrived in the morning, and I had a really tight schedule. I was meeting with clients during the day. So I met her, did her a whole orientation of the house, said, here's the utility room, here's where the washer and dryer are. The door always stays closed so the animal doesn't go in there, so my cat doesn't go in there. And yeah, any question and all that, right? So that was about an hour. I went upstairs, I worked for a couple of hours, and I was upstairs and I heard that door opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing from the third floor down the basement. And I thought, what is going on? I mean, it's the one place that she won't really need to go. Like, what's happening? But I didn't know, and I was with clients, so I couldn't find out. I had a break, and I went downstairs, and she said there was a little problem. I said, what happened? And she said, I was unpacking in the room across the hall, and I heard, and cat Koya was with me watching everything, of course, because she's so curious. And I heard this loud boom. So I went into the utility room and I noticed that I had one of those big, like, I don't know, gallon and a half, containers of laundry detergent that sits on its side with a spigot. And she said, and that laundry detergent, which she actually was not even going to use because she brought her own, fell off of the shelf above the washer, hit the washing machine, the cap came off, and then it fell onto the floor and all spilled out. So I was like, really? I mean, that's very bizarre because there was no earthquake, there was nothing. And so we went down into the utility room, and she'd taken everything from the floor and she cleaned it all up. I mean, the woman was already working before I even left the house. I was leaving later that day. And as soon as I walked in, and I didn't know her that well. I mean, we interviewed her, but I didn't know her, right? Like, know her well. And couldn't even stop myself. As soon as I opened the door and walked into the utility room, I said, must be a ghost. And she's like, what? I said, it must be a ghost. And because I looked at what had happened, I said, this shouldn't happen. That detergent has been there for a long time. She said, well, how do you know it's a ghost? I said, oh, it's kind of the work that I do. My intuition just told me that just came out without me saying it, thinking anything. So it must be a ghost. And she was okay with that. She's like, all right, well, mind you, she's moving into my house for 3 weeks. Okay. And she's like, okay, yeah. I said, do you believe in ghosts? She said, I do. But I said, don't worry about it. Everything will be fine before I leave. I'll make sure of that. So I had no idea. And I had to go back upstairs and work. I had like just a half-hour break. I came back down. We had a quick bite to eat. I said, I'm going to go out for a walk. Took a walk. I then sat down outside by the ball field, got into meditation, did what we do, and checked out the home. And sure enough, there was an older man, probably late 80s, that was standing there in her room at that point, and he was confused. He didn't know like where he was and why he was there. And I'm like, what's your name? And he said, my name is Wilbur. Oh, and I said to her before, I said, have you been anywhere unusual in the last few days? And she said, well, I was in a hospital a couple of days ago visiting a friend who was having surgery, and I was the person that was going to bring her back home, so I was a designated responsible adult. So, okay, good. So note to self, right? Sure enough, this man had passed away in the hospital. And I don't know exactly when, but he had passed away. And in the not too distant future, or the past future, maybe not too distant past, not too distant past, he had passed away. And we had a little bit of a conversation. I didn't have to know too much. He said that he found her. And this is what's so interesting about the spirits in general, right? They're quite smart. I mean, they know energetically where to go and what to do, even if they don't necessarily know where it's going to lead. Do you both agree with that? So he knew to attach himself to her, and potentially because she was going to come to me a couple of days later and it would be a pathway out. What's really so interesting is he only had a very finite time to knock. So what I believe and what I feel is that he got our attention by knocking that detergent off of the shelf, because I was only there for an hour, then I left and went to the airport in between, after I was working. So there was a very small period of time that he had to get our attention.
Mm-hmm.
And if it had happened while I was gone, I would never have thought about it.
Right.
I was there, walked in the room. Oh, we have a spirit. Find out that it's this man, Wilbur. Communicate with him. Work with our team on the other side. His wife came down. He went up into the light. All is good. I came back and told her. I had to tell her to close the loop, right? I said, don't worry. There's no spirit in the home anymore. Here's what happened. She goes, that is fascinating. She said, are you sure he's gone? I said, oh yeah, he's gone. I said, he didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be here. He said, you're a very nice lady, but he just, I think it was his ticket out. So I'm now at the airport and I'm thinking about all of this and I'm writing down this story because I'm like, this is just too crazy. I mean, that was truly my very first experience of a situation like that, right in front of me in my own home. And I'm writing down this experience, and then my logical mind started kicking in. Oh, Scott, it's just a coincidence. You made it up. I don't know how the detergent fell off the shelf, because you made up this whole Wilbur thing and everything else, right? That's what we sometimes do. We second guess ourselves.
Right.
Our critical mind, our critical thinking gets in the way. As soon as that happened, I'm standing in line at the gate for a delayed flight. I looked down. Oh, look what I have right here. Chronicles of Hope. So I looked down and the passenger in front of me is holding a hardcover book. A lot of people aren't doing that anymore. A lot of people are just reading digitally. Holding a hardcover book, and in the front of the book it said Wilbur Smith.
No way.
Honest to God, that is 100% true. And I almost fell down. I'm like, oh my God, that is amazing. This real-time confirmation, and come to find out Wilbur Smith is an author. And I'm like, 100%. And she was all over it. She was sending me messages while I was on the trip. I'm trying to figure out where this man is. His name is Wilbur. Like, where was he living and all that? I said, oh, no, but it's fascinating. Just fascinating. They're around us all the time.
They are. And we live in this unseen world that we can tap into. When we keep our energy high enough, we can tap in and help them. And you're right. They're like hitchhikers. They'll hitchhike onto somebody who's got a bright light or a kind soul. And many people in the hospitals or funeral homes or different places, the spirits are there just waiting for somebody to help rescue them, help them in the light. Yeah.
And I know that he knew that in this house, getting my attention was going to be a way for him to get rescued.
Absolutely.
And somehow he knew. They don't have a sense of time, but somehow he knew to get my attention.
That's a great.
In all the years I've had that shelf above the washing machine and the dryer, nothing has ever fallen off of it.
Wow. That's such a great story. Nothing has fallen since, right?
Nothing has fallen since.
Yep, he got your attention.
I have another story that's not mine, but I can tell it. So, a friend of mine is telling me how she believes in paranormal, et cetera. She said, I have a story that happened quite a few years ago that I never really figured out, and I kind of blocked it out of my mind because it freaked me out a little bit. So what was that? She said, I had a black dress that was all folded up in some sort of a bag, called my bag in my closet. I took out the bag and I laid the bag on my bed because I wanted to maybe try the dress on and see if it still fit. I'm adding a little bit to it, but it was a bag, a dress, type of thing. It was folded up. She said, I went to cook dinner, came back in, an hour or two later. The dress is completely laid out on the bed, outside of the bag. I mean, that's the whole story, but I think that's enough of the story to prove a point.
Did she figure out who did it? I was alone
in the house. I was alone. She was alone in the house.
And so did she figure out who did it and why?
No, she never did. I think
that's what we like to do. Yeah.
I know. She freaked her out, but she knows that there's... So here's an example. She has had quite a bit of, you could say, bad luck physically, with her home, with money, calling repair people into the home for certain things, handymen. They steal from her, including her passport, different things, right? I said, hello, you need an energy clearing. You've got stuff hanging around you that needs to be looked at and removed. She said, oh, I know. And then she told me that story.
And there are other people who like to have the spirits around them, especially at this time. They go to these spooky haunted places. And to me, going to the haunted houses and these places where the spirits are that are causing disturbance, to me, that's kind of like poking fun at the tiger in the zoo. I want to.
So I raised my hand because I have a story on that one too. If you want to hear another story.
Well, I want to hear Sharon's story next. Okay.
I know. I don't have so many stories that his stories are so good. I don't know.
Good stories too.
She does. So let me just tell this one quickly because this ties into that. So another friend of mine, I've always known that he has a lot of spirits around him, and he knows it too, and he wants to keep them. I don't understand that. He wants to keep them, and I said, I'm actually scared to meet you in person because I'm afraid some might jump onto me. Yeah. He said, oh, no. He said, they know who's going to take care of them. They know who to stay with, right? So he kind of like looks at it as like this thing to be proud of. Well, he went to 'tis the season, Halloween. He likes all that. Haunted houses, the gore. He went to a haunted house that is in a former slaughterhouse. And I sent some pictures, and they were really very gruesome. I could not look at them. Really awful. And I said to him, there is so much stuck energy there, and there are so many souls that are trapped. He said, hello, it's not a slaughterhouse for humans, it's for pigs. I said, pigs have souls.
That's right.
Right? And, he thinks it's a joke. I think it can be creating a portal into darkness. What do you think?
I agree.
Agree.
How many times do we, when we ask, are there any others there? When we rescue a soul, a spirit, we'll ask, is there anyone else hiding there with you? Oftentimes there are animals. We had one today that there was a rabbit and what else? There was a
cat, I think.
The other day we had a pig. There was a pig.
Oh yeah, there was a pig.
There was a pig. Yeah, a cat. So you've got to. They have spirits too. Why do you think, Sharon, your dog was so tuned into their spirits? They have.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I just watched a show about this gentleman who had a pig for a pet. So there you go.
Yes.
So I was running around looking for a wonderful place to take my grands to a pumpkin patch. And there's like 3 that I was kind of checking out. And my grands wanted to go to, of course, the one that I didn't have a good feeling about. Because it's on my way kind of to their house, and I drive by it a lot, and the whole area kind of gives me that, I don't know about this feeling. And so I said, no, we're not going to that one. It's got weird energy. We're not going. And they were so upset with me. Oh, Ma, come on, it's Halloween. And I said, I know it's Halloween, but why can't we have a beautiful, fun time? Why do we have to go someplace and get kind of scared and me feel uneasy? And like, what I do, I rescue spirits, and that place seems like it's got too much going on. And I don't want to just take you all into a place where you can get attacked by spirits. It needs to be cleared, and then I'll take you. And we need the whole team. This is big. And she goes, oh, Ma, people they hang up scary stuff to protect themselves against there's real scary stuff. And I said, no, I think they're bringing it to them with that scary stuff. I really do. But if you believe that, I understand. I guess.
I've noticed a lot of the Facebook or TikTok reels that have pictures or videos of the scary stuff on the porches, and the animals, bears and deer, and
Oh,
coming up to them, and then they'll and then the deer, either they will run away or they'll turn around and butt them. And it just
good.
cracks me up. It's amazing how the animals are. This is not good stuff, but people like that scary stuff. And the reality is these spirits. It's a time to rescue spirits and not poke fun at them. My thought, anyway, because most of these spirits don't know that there's another way. They're lost, and they died from typically sadness or despair and didn't go into the light. It's like your mom, the story about your mom going, she went into the light because she was at a very peaceful, content place. What we need to do is help them to transition.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a hard time with like those, hotels that are haunted, or old mining towns, or just places where they advertise it that way, but they don't realize what a disservice they're doing to the spirits.
Right.
Again, they don't know that most of them don't know that they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just repeating what they knew in life.
That's right.
But they're confused.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to be heard, as you said. They want to be able to tell their stories. And they don't know that there's another way. Mm-hmm. They know that they probably shouldn't be there, but they don't know how to get out of there, wherever there is.
And sometimes it's a haunted house, and sometimes the spirits are from before the house. We had a client just the other day that there were spirits in the land because it was a farm. It was a farm before they built it. I guess the houses were maybe 40 years old. And the farmer was there very sad and lonely. And they tore down my house. Where did my farm go? I worked so hard for my farm. So the spirit brought sadness to the land. And then another one, same place, there was our client was having nightmares. Something was, he would wake up with this face in front of him. He thought it was a demon. It turns out it was a little 10-year-old girl that had died in the house, the farmhouse, before the house was built. So the spirit was much older, but she just wanted somebody to play with. So she thought, if I scare him, maybe he'll come play with me. So her intention was not evil at all. She was just looking for a playmate, but she was scaring the fool out of this guy. So it's very interesting when you hear the spirit stories. Our goal is to have them tell us your story so we can help you find peace. That's the goal. And there's so many stories, so many,
and it's so beautiful when they can tell their stories. Mm-hmm. Many times they're not only healing themselves, but they're healing their family. They're healing so many others.
Mm-hmm. And they've been around for such a long time. Such a long time.
Hundreds of years, many of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Sharon.
Well, also to connect to the souls that are in the light, that's beautiful as well.
Mm-hmm. That is. And so the person needs to raise their energy in order to communicate with the higher vibe ones that are in the light. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Communicate with an ancestor or a parent or child.
Or a mentor. Yeah.
Or a mentor. Yeah.
We recently had a client whose mentor was doing the spirit work that we do. And you see, we do it as a team now. He was doing it alone. And she found him bound in chains by the demons. So this is part of demons are real. This nasty stuff is very, very real. Yes, there are lost souls that are just longing to go into the light, that they just need rescued. But, there are a lot of people who dabble in sorcery. And there's a lot of very, very real sorcery out there. If you start dabbling, you're opening, like Scott said, a portal to the unknown, and you don't know what's going to come through. Well, when you start working in the shadow side, you've got to be very protected lest you get taken over. And we found him bound in chains with a serpent controlling him. He had passed, but he died a very mysterious way and was really captured by this nasty. So we helped rescue him. He was very appreciative. And this work is really important because you just never know what you're going to encounter out there.
Well, and maybe you're not even dabbling in the black arts. Maybe you're just not protected.
That's true.
you can be this beautiful starseed and attract stuff to you because you're not protected. And so I don't know, that might have happened to him because he was an amazing giver of light. So
what do you think is a sign that someone might need a clearing? How, like you were talking about, is this my imagination, Scott? Because our analytical mind wants to talk us out of it. How do you know that you might need a clearing, and how do you know it's not your imagination?
Well, I mean, if you start to see things changing in your life, if you start to experience what might be called bad luck or some difficult situations, health challenges, I mean, any one of those could be like a flag to say, maybe I should look at this from a non-physical perspective. Instead of running to the doctor, maybe there's something else going on. Because how many times have we done clearings for clients, and whatever they have experienced physically, sickness-wise or ailment-wise, a lot of it can be tracked down to what's happened on the energetic level in the other dimensions, right? So I think that would be something important. If the person really does feel like something is off, the place where they live, maybe where they did live and they've always felt like they just can't shake something. I mean, we've had many clients where when they were children, they felt that something was off, and that ever since then, or since a certain period in their life, they feel different, or they feel like somebody's watching them, or something is watching them. They can't sleep at night. They actually see things. I mean, there's so many possible reasons to have an energy clearing. And like you'll always say, we take a shower or a bath usually once a day, right? I mean, most people that we're dealing with have never had work like this done.
Right.
And we all accumulate stuff. I don't think we've ever had a client that's never had this type of work done on them. And there's very few that do the work like we do as a team, where we saw them and there was nothing. There's always something.
There's always something around.
We're always picking up things along the way, or spirits along the way, and that it drains us. Our energy is low. We're tired. Where so many things start to change with us, or can be affecting us because they don't have energy of their own.
Yeah, it's like going to the dentist for a dental cleaning. You don't just do it once in a lifetime. You need to go back on a regular basis because you never know when you're going to pick more up. So we had a client recently that we had done a beautiful clearing for this young man, but he went to a museum with his girlfriend in a big city, and we see him again for a follow-up session, and he's got spirits all around him again. He has no idea. He picked him up because he was clean and shiny and bright, and the spirits just come to him partially because he's just a bright light. He's unprotected. He didn't know how to protect himself, didn't practice protection. And then also they know that, well, we're going to help him at some point. So we've got to practice what we call spiritual hygiene. Got to put on your bubble and do some regular clearing for yourself in order to stay strong and healthy. Otherwise, they drain your energy. Our bodies are fascinating in that they create energy. We are energy generators. Our body does that. When the spirit dies, they don't have an energy source of their own. The body is the energy source. So the spirit tends to gravitate towards ones that have good energy or others of like mind. So for instance, if somebody's an addict and has died, they will want to be around other addicts. They tend to gravitate toward other addicts. And so they will continue, the ones that are living will continue with the drive from the addict that's whispering in their ear. Right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And that's why I'm thinking also, you've said, for so many years you did hypnosis by itself. And then when you started incorporating this work, you realize actually this is more important to do before hypnosis. Otherwise, you might be hypnotizing the spirits.
That's right. That's so true.
Which I think it's a funny way to say it, but it proves the point.
It's true. I got tired of hypnotizing spirits all the time. And once we help the spirits safely in the light and remove any of the other entities, energies, then that human person, the spirit of the person in that physical body, it's easier to change a habit because all that extraneous influence is gone.
Makes sense.
So, what is your favorite light-filled ritual? What do you do? Scott, you travel all the time. Sharon, you're around your grands all the time. I'm in graveyards all the time. What do you do to keep yourself clean and protected? Do you have a specific thing that you do on a regular basis?
Well, for me, every day it's sacred space, every morning, and most of the time in the evening or a different version of it before I fall asleep. So it's sacred space every day. And it's really paying attention to when I feel off, when something
Mhm,
feels off, and
mhm,
going deeper. A lot of times going to each other, our colleagues,
mhm.
saying, take a quick look at me because I feel like something's off. And then time in nature. For me, that's very useful. Every day I'm out. Every day I'm spending time outside. That's very helpful.
Absolutely. Time in nature and grounding in nature. Sharon, you taught me that. So being out in my bare feet or if it's cooler, a moccasin like leather soled shoes where you're really connecting with the energy of the earth. It really is a way of dissipating toxic energy.
Yeah, sacred space for sure. And I go outside, no shoes on all the time. I forget my shoes many times. I'll be in the car and just kind of being aware, like what's around.
Mhm.
And if I feel like something might be coming in or around me where I don't feel comfortable, I'll do sacred space really quickly, like bubble up.
Bubble up.
Yeah, and just being aware of others and their energy. And I usually stay away from energy that doesn't make me feel comfortable. So if I'm in a place I haven't been before and I feel something, I'll go the other way. Even in a park,
Mhm.
I feel something, I'll go the other way. Yeah, people I'm familiar with, even I'll spend way less time with them than otherwise did before.
You've learned to trust your intuition, and
Yeah.
that's what we often have ignored so many times. So the
Mhm.
more we're familiar with when our energy is clear and we know what our clear energy feels like, and then when something feels off, as you both have said, then we know something's off. And for me, oftentimes it's not a physical manifestation, it's more of an emotional manifestation. If I feel like I don't have energy or I'm ruminating over something or just feel a little on the bitchy side, just a negative attitude that will come over. I'm like, this isn't me. That's not who I am. Where is this coming from? And then I'll realize that something that I've picked something up, or there are people who send nasty thoughts. And a nasty thought, just like the power of prayer is wonderful. If you send love and light and prayer to somebody, they feel it. We feel it when we send love and light to each other. And there are people who are so stuck in their negativity. Like you're saying, Sharon, there's some people you just don't want to be around too much. You can send them love and light, limit your exposure to some of the people who are still stuck in their toxic energy so that it's self-preservation and self-care, self-care.
Mhm. And they might even have a spirit on them.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I do. Yeah.
and there's not much you can do about that unless they request the spirit to be released.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important to honor what our feelings are and really know ourselves, and that's an important thing.
Hmm. And I
And I
can
think what's
tell.
interesting,
Oh,
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Sharon. No, you continue.
Well, I can tell if somebody's been attacked that I care about. I can tell right away.
Hmm.
Like, oh, and I don't get mad at them.
Hmm.
Like I used to, like, what is your problem? It's more like, oh, I see what's going on. Just let me put you in my sacred space and talk to my team and figure this through.
Wonderful. Yep, bubble up. Put on that deflector shields up. And the other thing that I like to use is Saint Germain's invisibility cloak, I call it, the violet flame. Wrap up in that, especially if you're going into some place that feels uncomfortable and you have to go through it. put on that violet flame. And then it's interesting setting your intention that only those who are of equal or greater vibration will see me. And it's funny, people don't even notice you. You just walk through like you've got the invisibility cloak on. It's a special time of year. That truly is. The autumn and the Halloween, this season is all about celebrating those that have passed. And traditionally, it's about helping to make sure that all those that have died over this past year are prayed for and lifted into the light, because the power of prayer really will help people into the light. And instead of laughing at them, poking fun, and making them just part of people's entertainment, that's kind of cruel.
Yeah, it is too about real people, physical people that do want to have a clear, right, have this work done, and then something gets in the way, usually spirits around them, they can be scared, right? They don't want to necessarily leave the person, and they sometimes cause a little bit of havoc with having the work done, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Technological issues, I mean, just different things happen. Interruptions, several things, because they're a little bit apprehensive and about the unknown, where they are right now with whoever they're with. It's known. They're comfortable with that.
Right. So if people are curious about sacred space, Sharon has created a lot of TikToks. If you all are subscribed to our Inspiring Hope on TikTok, you have dozens of sacred spaces from many of our team, and she does such a lovely job with adding flavor to them. So it's important to learn how to do your own version of sacred space, and we have a bunch of different versions on the website and on TikTok. So do what you can to keep yourself, your spiritual hygiene clear, right? Especially at this time. Any last thoughts, insights, messages?
Not for me.
Sharon?
There's so many. There's too many.
We'll do another. We like to do a show about spooky stories around Halloween. This was fabulous. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the work you're doing. The spirits always thank us. They're very appreciative for this work. And it's done with love and with the divine guides of the light. That's critical. So thank you both. If you listeners enjoy this content, please like and share and subscribe to our YouTube or Rumble channels. Follow us on Facebook. We're out there. We put ourselves out there to teach, to share, and to help shift the planet to be more positive. That's our goal. Right?
Right.
Until next time, everybody, look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day. God bless.